people of Earth, good evening. Welcome to this edition 96 of Star Nation News. In this edition, you will receive updates of what's going on in the galaxy, in our solar system. Meet with beautiful, wonderful beings. And follow me to an adventure at the center of the galaxy. Are you ready? Fasten your seatbelts and engage. There are still wonders to be discovered, new worlds, new life, and this is the future of humanity. Soon, humanity will meet with the people from other worlds, star systems, near and far, to even distant galaxies. Humanity is at this transition on planet Earth, when the doors towards the stars and into becoming an interstellar civilization is here. We are all here on this planet standing on the threshold to a new step in our evolution. And who make this change? The architects of the future. All of you. In your different ways and skills, you are making this change. It is time you use your skill to change this world and build it as you want it to be. The future is already written in the time field. It already exists. This future, I've seen it, and it is magnificent. Hi everyone, I'm ready to go. We are Tuesday evening, December 2, 2025. Torrent's picking me up in absolutely, I think, 10 minutes from now. We are going on a cargo to the center of the galaxy, and it's gonna be amazing. I think he's bringing back in Earth time tomorrow at dawn, before sunrise. That's the rule. It always does that. So I will dress up warmly. Just have to put my boots on and grab a coat, and we're going. Taking a cargo. This long tubular cargo, apparently, you can teleport from node points to node points in the galaxy. So apparently it won't take very long. Probably a few hours. I don't know, maybe a day or two, but they bring me back tomorrow. So I'm very excited, and tomorrow I'll be back, and I'm going to do a new video to tell you how this go. Okay, I think I've got to go. So exciting. See you after. So I was just back this morning, December 3, 2025. I want to record this video after having a shower, pampered myself, because I was really tired. That was a long night. The trip lasts, I was told, about 6 hours, way and back. That was very impressive. These cargoes are extraordinary. They teleport, but you don't really feel inside the teleportation effect, because when you are teleported organically, like one person, you feel it. You feel all the tingles, you feel nauseous, you feel the electric discharge in all your atomic bonds. It's inconvenient. But with teleporting on board this huge ship, I mean, you don't feel anything. There's kind of a buzz, a hum that goes zzz, like a wave of statics, but that's all you feel. And it comes from the top of the ship, and it goes like zzz, the whole thing, and it's huge. So what happened? Here is the whole story. So So I was picked up, teleported on board a scout ship of the Federation. Thoron was there, and there were two personnel with him, a pilot named Ezrak and a lady named Jemin, and they were both Pleiadians. I didn't get to talk with the pilot guy, but he was looking like a bit Seladion, but not really. Of course, he had a long white hair, but he was a Pleiadian. And the lady had short, curly hair, reddish blonde. She was very beautiful, green eyes, and I bonded a bit with her because she was very interesting. She's a scientist. She came from the science vessel that is in orbit around Earth. You know, now there are 3 vessels. One military has left, and we were a bit late because I wanted to do a video on TikTok that you just saw, and so I was like 5 minutes late, and the timing is tack 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 tack. So at midnight they took me, midnight past 10 actually. So it was like, we're late. The Torhan has booked these seats on board that cargo. So what are these cargo? I'm going to describe it as I'm telling you how we arrived there. The ship flew straight away. The cargo was in the vicinity of a very bright yellow planet. What's that? It's a bit blinding. Where are we in the star system? And it was Mercury, and we would see the enlightened side of it. So it was really reflecting the sunlight, very bright. Never been that close to Mercury. And the sun was behind us. And we were flying through this huge cigar long ship. And on the front side was a bit more larger. It was a cylinder and getting larger to the front. And on the front there was like a semi-glass bubble where you could see the people in it, the passengers, everything. And at the back it was a hole with like a reactor. So it was gray, dark grayish. The length, it was really huge. You know, I'm very bad with measurements from my eye when I'm in a spaceship, because in space you don't really judge the distance. Sometimes you don't realize you're far or near to an object as your eyes seem to see, because there's no elements in between the screen of the ship and the object. So you don't know if you're here or if you're here, so you can't really judge the dimensions. But I can tell you it was huge. So we arrived near to it, and there were a triangular set of windows. The triangles were bottom down, that's the way out. We went underneath it, and on the other side, where the triangular windows are pointing up, so that's the entrance side, and behind you could see the sun. And there were sun flares. It was absolutely terrifying, but you know, in the torsion field, it just goes around and you don't care. Same for the cargo ship. Oh my God. Second time I'm going near the sun. The first time was with Ia to see 3i Atlas from the behind. So it was like, whoa. We entered the triangular window. We waited for clearance, so the signal, and the ship positioned in front of the triangular window, and we had to let the ship, our scout ship, be guided by the tractor beam, we can say, that really drew our ship into the window. So you can't miss it, because when you lock signal with the cargo is taking over your landing in it. So the ship was taken inside the triangular hole, and when we approach, oh my gosh, this thing is huge, and the outside is really dark gray. So we went in. the outside of the window, there's a really little lit up thread, I would say. I don't know how to describe it in English. Neon light. It's not neon, but it's light that goes all around the aperture. We went inside, and it's really thick, so it was like a short corridor. We landed on a platform, and when we were inside, we landed like on a cylindrical high platform on the top, larger than our ship. And once inside, it was very light, and we could see all the other cylinders with ships coming down. And on the other side, you couldn't really see the other windows. The exit windows, there was kind of a wall, so it was empty inside, but you had a flat bottom, and on the top there was a ceiling as well. You had the quarters of passengers, and all around there was a promenade, with, of course, protected with kind of a glass, a tube. And the ship went down in the cylinders, so quickly we didn't see anything. It was like vertical corridor, and it was then parked at the bottom, and then we were parked with all the other ships. And it was a bit darker at the bottom, the lights, because they're on the top. And we got out of the ship, and we just outside of the airlock there was a door. We went in. There was a little corridor. We went to a lift, and the lift took us up. And we arrived on the promenade. And so it's like landing pads, like cylinders all along inside. And when you go in, then you take the lift, and then you arrive on the promenade on the top. And the promenade, when you get out of the lift, you see the corridor behind you. There are the individual lift doors for all the other arrivals. So I went there, and I was like, wow. And Thor said, we must hurry. So I was looking, there were passengers in it. And he said, we will do this trip in several steps, because we are going to use stargates. That's how the ship teleports. It uses the gravitational fields of stars. So we are going to use the gravitational field of Sol, not going through it, but near enough to just get the boost. So Thoran said, hey, and Jamin and Ezrak were with us, so we were walking quickly towards the front of the ship where the passenger area is. And I knew it. Guess who came to meet us? Seladion. I hadn't seen him for 3 years, because he was wandering the whole galaxy, and since the episode we lived together, the 2 months on Koldas. So Seladion was there, and I jumped and shouted, and we hugged so strong, and I told him I missed him so much. He's like my son, and that was the longest hug ever, because while we were hugging, we were talking to each other. And Thoran was like, hey, it's quick, let's go. We're gonna miss the start. And with Seladion, I said, the first thing I said, I missed you. And I said, did you still have your tattoos? He said, yes. He said, I got to refresh them on Koldas. He said, when did you go back? He said, I go back there regularly to see my children. They are beautiful. There are 4 children. They're 3 years old, but they are taller in Koldasi evolution. And we said they are taller, like 6 years old, but they're too tiny to travel. So he's going there, meeting with Moniri also. He goes there regularly, but he travels the whole universe. The distances are so short, when you're gonna know how it happened to go to the center of the galaxy. So Seladion is very happy. Is just lone traveler now, explorer. He doesn't work for any company, and he has enough Federation credits too for the rest of his life, you know, and Thoran is making sure he has a good, how to say, retirement credits. I don't know what he will do next, but yeah, he retired as well from the mining company on Neptune. So we ran then to we literally ran to the front of the ship, and it was a long way and was a bit out of breath. We ran downstairs to go to the deck C. There's different decks, and for the passengers, the upper deck is the control room, and the lower decks are passengers, and there's one deck with a bar. So, but we went to the deck C. It was a third deck from the bottom, and that's where the bulk of the bubble is the best. So that's where we could see better. So we sat in seats there, and then there was a hum, and Thoran said, "Oh, that it's starting." The ship started to move, and you could see Mercury going down, and the sun, and it was blinding. And Thoran said, "We're going towards the sun." I was like, "Woohoo!" And we went there. We couldn't, of course. Torsion fields, you do not feel any acceleration, any move, just sometimes trembling and or humming statics. We approached the sun very fast, and then there was a blast of light, very blinding. And when it was so blinding, it really like a bit of gave a headache, an instant like headache that disappeared very quickly, like an electrical shock wave in your brain, like tack, you know, when you get these migraines and it's like tack, it's a bit of things like this, but then it lasts a second. And when the light disappeared, faded, we were somewhere else, and there was a blue hue around, and we were above another star, getting away from another star in another star system, and we could see a few planets shining in the distance. Where are we? He said, "We are in the Arcturian star system. This is the star Ohora." He said, "Yeah, we are going to Sol jumps to Arcturus. From Arcturus we will jump to Antares, and from Antares, which is one of the biggest stargates in the galaxy, we will jump to near the center of the galaxy." So in the Ohora star system, the ship went to a planet, I think it was Ohora, and most of the passengers disembarked, so we had time, and we had a chat about Celadion's life, and then while we were waiting, we heard a voice. Oh, I saw Ohora from very close because the cylinder really entered the atmosphere, and scout ships really left it to go to passengers' places, disembarking. And we heard a feminine voice. "Ah, you're here, I was looking for you, where were you?" It was Kira, High Officer Kira, that you know well, and she was looking for us because Thoran had invited her as well. And so we joined her, and Kira and Celadion had a big hug. Oh my goodness. And I didn't know, they had a relationship before. So Kira is one of Celadion's ex. Of course, Celadion did a lot of people in his time. Now he's married, well, he's mated, so he's changed a lot. But they had a long chat, and she wanted to know everything about his life. It was really nice. And then we sat all together. I had a bit of chat with Jemin, the Pleiadian scientist lady. She's an Ahel. She's from Era. I think I made a new friend. She was very interesting because she's studying the gravitational fields. She's a specialist into gravity sciences, so that's why she was interested to come. Because when Thoran booked this trip to the Galactic Center of Nataru. He made a little research where there are students who wanted to come along, and he picked her. She's not really a student, but she's a researcher, but she's a young researcher, and so it's a pity Janhan wasn't there, but Janhan is still processing his meeting with 3i Atlas inside the ship. So he's on Mars. I'm waiting to get news from him for the moment. He's processing a very personal transformation. So the passengers disembarked to Ohora, and the ship went back to Arcturus star, Ohora star. And again, this is beautifully blue star. It's really beautiful. Less solar activity than Sol. The solar ejections, plasmic ejections, are less expanded in space. They're shorter range. We went back there and accelerated, go towards the star, and blind light, and then it was a stronger one, and we arrived in another star system. It was the Antares star system, the home star system of the Negumak Gnomopo. And Antares is massive, massive star, massive. Blue as well, but a different kind of blue, more greenish, and I didn't know it had green aspects to it, blue with green ejections. It's really interesting. So we had we saw a planet, twinkling star, and the ship went towards it, and then we saw this planet had one ring, one set of ring, and that was the not the planet Negumak, it was another planet. And last passengers disembarked from there. But then Thoran said we're gonna stay for a while there, so we stayed about an hour there. So we said let's go to the bar. We went all to the bar, another upper deck, and the bar, it was very wide area. Passengers were leaving the area, and it was the last passengers to disembark, so we were about to be the only one in the cargo. After that, we sat at the bar, and there was a guy. It wasn't a robot for once, because usually it's always a robot, but in the Galactic Federation of World facilities, but it wasn't. It was a guy. He looked a bit like Arzana I met, but it wasn't the same species. He had brown skin. He looked a bit like, you know, the Intergalactic Confederation people who look like a bit the Ferengi. He looked like them. I wonder if it wasn't one of them. A bit reptilian type, tall, human size. So he served us drinks. Jamin took the orange one, and Thoran said, no, not the orange. You're not allowed the orange one. I know that it would harm me, so I had the blue one, the Ulat, with these little bubbles inside. So it was good. Refreshment. Thoran said, don't drink too fast because we're gonna jump again a few times. I said no. So I had quickly. I said, can we bring the drinks to the deck where we were? He said, yeah, no problem. So, but we stayed at the bar, we had a long chat, and we waited there. I chatted better with Jamin and Saladion. It was really, really cool. Then we chat about different things. You know, Thoran told me that there were going to be more changes on Earth in 2026, starting in January, positive things. So we had to be ready for that. Nothing much will happen until end of December, but January things should kickstart a bit more regarding disclosure. So it was good. And political scene. He said there was going to be changes politically in Europe, in France. There were going to be changes. So get ready for that positively. Now the ship started to hum. So Saladion said, no, let's not go back to the deck. Let's go back to the control room. Thoran said, yes, it's a great idea. So we must then leave our drinks there. So, okay. We took the lift and went to the control room. We had clearance because I'm a civilian emissary officially, and Thoran is a high officer. So we got to get in, and Kira as well is a high officer. So 2 high officers and an emissary. So, and I have my Anach background. So we had super clearance to go to the control room. And it was a semicircular control room, and the commander was the same species as the guy on the bar. I don't know where he was from. So they are not intergalactic confederation. After all, they are really from this galaxy. They are. I'll find the species for you. Probably in the Galactic Encyclopedia Galactica. I'll find it. He welcomed us, and there were not a lot of people, like 5 or 6 people at the control, holographic controls, and then there was a big window on the front, super big, but we could see the star Antares, massive. We were just going back to it slowly. We had dropped the last passengers. Then we were ready to jump to the center of the galaxy. The captain of the ship said to me, I'm inviting you if you want to sit in that chair and do it yourself.
I'm inviting you if you want a seat in that chair and doing it yourself.
Oh my gosh! Not the jumping procedure right away, but the moving of the ship towards Antares star. So I did that. And it was Federation technology, and I could operate it. And I knew how to do that with a scout ship. It was exactly the same commands on the cargo. I never moved such a big ship in my life. So I sat on this chair. It's, it's not very fancy inside. It's also dark gray, and the seat was dark gray, kind of synthetic material. I sat, and the captain pressed on a console that made a holographic screen appear just here. And I with my, that was really the circle for the star and the little dot of the ship, and I brought the little dot to the star. And the ship just turned, and we could see the star, and that was amazing. And then that was it for my experience. And then here we go. The captain said, now we are ready. Take a deep breath. And the ship jumped, accelerated towards Antares, and disappeared in its gravitational field, teleported to a node point near the galactic center. And there it was, like, oh my goodness. Bright, yellow bright, with a bit of red in the light. And there was a lot of space, debris, rocks, and all around us, but they couldn't hit the ship because of the gravitational torsion field that's making like a plasma shield, Everything was slipping around the cargo, and we were advancing slowly through this field of debris towards that light. And when you could look on the side, you could see the debris just lit up by the light that was on the front. But when you were arriving from behind these debris, there were dark spots, shadows. So easy to spot them. But the ship didn't mind when, it was moving them. And for the big one, we were avoiding them. And there were star systems there. And it was all condensed. There was and when we approached, there was a haze, a nebula, kind of like a nebula haze. And Thoran explained to me, this is the edge of zone 1, the central zone of the insignia of the Galactic Federation of Worlds, the round in the middle that was there. So the central haze marks the limit of zone 1. So we entered it. And this is a medium where stars are formed. There are star systems there, of course. A lot of people live there. We continued our journey, and the light in the front was very bright. And I could see then, it was, the distance were phenomenal. You thought you were there, but it was unbelievably far. But you could see a start of a vortex twirling in the middle of this light. And I said, is that the black hole? He said, yes. Thoran said, yes. But do not call it a black hole. Call it a vortex. We call it the vortex. The heart of the galaxy. It's a vortex. It's a pulsing vortex. So he explained to me, and Jamin, the scientist, was taking over at some parts. So both explained to me. This is not a black hole sucking everything into a singularity that destroys everything or propels it somewhere else. It is not. It is a vortex that is connected to the universal center, the center of this bubble universe. And every bubble universe are connected to each other, and then each other are connected to the central source. Now, this vortex is quantumly entangled to the center of the universe, which is quantumly entangled to source. So source sends up fractals of itself, matter and consciousness, through each universe centers, and then each universe center dispatches it to the galaxies. Okay, so that's a natural process. So from this vortex, which is stable because the ratio of attraction and propelling matter out is balanced. That's how galaxies are born. So some matter will be attracted to this event horizon, but more matter will come out and create star systems. That's how galaxies grow. This, as Jamin explained to me, you see a vortex, but with bright light inside. She said, that's a visual aspect you see from the observer with your human eyes, but in fact, it's a torsion field, the shape of it. It's like an apple torsion field. So things got sucked in, that taken into the torsion field, sucked in to the singularity, and go back outside and back in again. That's how it works. But when you pass by via the singularity, you connect to the center of the universe, and then the center of the universe sends something else, and it goes infinitely. Everything is recycled, nothing is lost. This galactic center has a ratio of what is sucked in and what is not. Everything that has its proper gravitational field is balanced at different distance from the event horizon. And so that's how star systems can exist near it. I cannot imagine enough how life could be on one of these planets where there's never a night. It's always bright. Okay, so to recapitulate, this galactic center can be called a black hole, but it is in fact a vortex. and it keeps everything together with gravitational fields because matter is sucked in, but also as it turns. That's how all bodies who have an electromagnetic field, they turn. There's a movement, the movement of the torsion field. It sends out, it receives and sends out matter and materials and consciousness from source via the universal center. So it's a balanced ratio. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So I said to Thoran, could we go in? What would happen if this cargo goes in? Where would we arrive? And he said, if we go, this cargo is not equipped. He said, there are other cargos bigger that are more well equipped to go to universal centers. But we could, at an ulterior date, we would be teleported simply to the universal center. And he said, but we can use this vortex as a mean of communication because it is also entangled to other galaxies. So how they explained to me, Jamin and Thoran, is that galaxies are by clusters, gravitational clusters. And these gravitational clusters are also linked by gravitational currents. That's how you have the whole Laniakea system of galaxies. You know the Boutès void. It's not a void devoid of anything. It's just, you see the void between the threads, the filaments of Laniakea mega cluster. It's like a neural pathways in a brain, okay? And galaxies are like neurons. That's how I would put it, the brain of creator. So Nataru is entangled gravitationally to different other galaxies, to Andromeda, of course. And so because there's a gravitational bond to these other galaxies, you can enter the frequency key of these other galaxies, bond by the heart to Nataru, and you can just Stargate teleport you there. Galactic gate, teleport there. That's how you go to Andromeda like this. You go to the galactic center of Nataru and you're teleported to the galactic center of Andromeda, Megapay, and then you go wherever you want in it, by stargates or by usual travel. That's how you go fast from a galaxy to another. So it was very instructive, and I'm willing to talk about it more in my webinars, and so I'll do more informative videos about it. And suddenly we had a communication, and Captain said, we have visitors, passengers who want to use the cargo to go to Antares. So I said, yeah, great. They were identified, cleared, and suddenly ships like came out of nowhere. An armada of white, clear yellow. They were shining. That's why I remember I said white. Very shiny. Yellow with black stripes, like triangular ships. Not triangular like the TR-3Bs, like with shapes, like little planes, triangular, you know. And they came out of nowhere. There were about maybe 8 to 10 of them. They came to the cargo, they went on the side, and I knew they were boarding with the platforms and etc. A few minutes later, like I would say 20 minutes later, a delegation of them arrived in a command, and they were tall humanoids with glossy yellow skin, like a bit fishy skin, very glossy with black patches. And they had bulky eyes, like a fish type of head, kind of tentacles behind, long hands, big hands, webbed feet, but they had a kind of bodysuit. And they were smelling kind of, can't identify the smell. like when you, sorry, but when you smell soup, vegetable soup, that kind of smell, don't ask me why, that's how, the closest I can identify it. And so they were talking in language that my communicator couldn't understand, like a lot of kind of languages. The captain answered them this, and then he introduced Thorhan and Kira and me, and they spoke to us in this language. I did that. I couldn't have a clue, and Thorhan and Kira responded in the same language. It was funny to see them talking that language. And they went to the passenger area, and then we were ready to go back to Antares. Which we did, and we disembarked them there. Thorhan said, yeah, we'll come back, and I'll take you to the center of the universe or other galaxies next time. So brilliant, I love you. Then it was time, we then teleported to Arcturian star system and then to Sol. And from there, I was brought back to say goodbye to Seladion. Oh, it was, I'll see him again. He said he's staying in the star system at the moment. He's on the Excelsior in Thorhan's quarters. So that's great. He's sleeping in the living room area in Thorhan's quarters. So I'm going to have to see him a lot in the next coming weeks, because he's spending time on Koldas. So he's going to go and back forward. So that's going to be cool. And Kira went back to her ship. Said to Thorhan, meet you on the Excelsior. They brought me back to Earth, and I thanked Thorhan a lot. Said goodbye to my new friend Jemin, and she invited me on board her science station, which where I will go, of course. And they brought me back to Earth, and it was I was away 6 hours. So here we go. Went back to bed, and just woke up a short while ago. Didn't sleep much. Had a shower, put some makeup on, and pampered myself for recording this video, and I think I'm going to go back to bed. That was a beautiful journey, and I am delighted to be able to share it with you all, and I will keep you informed about my further space travels. We are heading towards a time where you also will soon be able to do this. So, all good. What is forward is amazing. Follow my work, my books, my webinars. Follow me all around the world to amazing conferences. The next one is to be held in Stockholm, Sweden in May, and then straight after to Tokyo in Japan in June. Please see the website page elenadanaan.org/international speaker, and you will have all the links to book your tickets for the most amazing conferences. These two upcoming conferences, Sweden and Japan, are very dear to me because something extraordinary is going to happen in both of them. In Stockholm, you will see scientists discussing the veracity of my evidence and bringing proofs of it. In Japan, you will have exclusive updates on what's going on in the galaxy and a connection, a Q&A with an extraterrestrial, Thoran Eretion. Do not miss these two beautiful conferences, wherever you are in the world. Europe, it is now, May, Stockholm. Middle East and Asia, it is in June, right after, in Tokyo, in a big, magnificent hall, a different one, a new place where I haven't been before, and it is ultra-modern and amazing, and this is going to be very special. These two conferences are going to be equally very special. So I am inviting you to check it out. The Japanese version of Encyclopedia Galactica is out. And also you can buy the replay of my webinar 28 Genesis 2. It is the time when you are given back the knowledge of your history, of who you are. And I have so much more surprises for 2026. Follow also my newsletter. This is new at the bottom of my website, all the pages. And you will be informed about my latest work. So don't miss that either. It's free. Now it is time we are embarking to visit a new civilization. Soon you will see them face to face. In the meantime, I am educating you on who they are. Are you ready? Fasten your seatbelts. See you next weekend. Engage.
Analyzing data.
The Zygon are a Lyran Ahel colony from the Man system, or Kepler 62, who settled in one of the 12 inhabited systems in the Andromeda constellation, a binary dwarf star system known to Earth as Groom Bridge 34, after the sea car devastated their original homeworld. The Zygon are humanoid and have evolved to be taller with pale blue skin due to the air composition of their new planet. Their lifespan has also extended, with some living up to 2,000 Earth years old. Although part of the Galactic Federation of Worlds, the Zygons were initially uninterested in Earth affairs and avoided any conflicts. However, a small group of Zygons decided to help the human species on Terra, Earth, by incarnating through the Andromedan Envoy program. When the situation in the solar system became more favorable, the Zygon government took responsibility for the small group of Zygon envoys on Earth and sent troops to join the operation of the Galactic Federation of Worlds there. Zygon ships are golden and elegantly profiled, and they are now becoming a significant military power within the Galactic Federation of Worlds.
Star Nation News was brought to you by Elena Danaan. Don't miss the latest news every Monday on Elena Danaan's channel. Video directed by Steph Zach.